Yay.
Hey,
Yay,
we
sound
have
is right.
Timmy, writer and director
Hello,
of In Plain Sight, right here. How you
hello,
doing?
hello, greetings. I'm good, thank you. Thanks for the welcome.
Cool.
Welcome,
Hey.
fam.
Uh, thank you
That's my
for
guy.
giving thank you for giving us In Plain Sight to show. I really enjoyed it. There's
Thank
one
you for
thing
showing
that
it.
just sort of, the moment that it started, it's just like this one thing that just like crept up in my head. I'm just like, man, this
Yeah.
this reminds me of the conversation.
Yep.
Was
Yeah.
that an influence for you when making this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I discovered it, yeah, what, 2 years ago. Obviously I'm a big Coppola fan, Francis Ford Coppola. But yeah, I had no idea he made this film, yeah, in 74 in between both Godfathers. So during my research I discovered it,
Mm.
watched it. And when I started writing, I just couldn't get, I don't know, the similarities were there, the influence, I couldn't get rid of it. So I thought, you know what, I'll just go with it. But yeah, sorry, the conversation, Man with the Moving Camera. Um, the film that influenced the conversation actually was Blow Up. So I went back to Blow Up as well, watched Blow Up. So yeah, those three films and Memento as well. Those were the key influences. But yeah, Conversation was the singular influence on the whole, the story, the visuals, the look. Yeah.
Cool. So I know that you have a background in photography, um,
Yep.
and then from there you sort of shifted into film. But how much did that inspire the character? Did you know straight away that you wanted this to be about a photographer?
Yes. I had this idea since 2015, so about 5 years ago. Whilst I was doing my MA, I did a project where I had to basically follow people. I know it sounds be patient. It sounds very creepy, but so I had to create these characters. So I had to follow people and then create like a backstory to these characters on the street. So from that project, I got the idea to do this film, and obviously my background's in photography, so I always knew I wanted to, I don't know, sort of have a photographer who was a documentary photographer who, shadowed people, as it were. Um, and then the psychological bit came later, because initially in the early drafts it was strictly a crime thriller, but as the story developed, I sort of worked the psychological aspect into it and the condition of schizophrenia. But yeah, I always knew it was going to be a photographer, and there was something about having the visuals of, we use our eyes to sort of observe, but with this condition of schizophrenia, obviously it's partly a condition of, of the mind. So I like that aspect of blending the two together. So obviously it's not strictly his sight; he can see, but yeah, it's sort of playing with his sight and his psychological condition. So linking the two. So yeah, I thought that would be a good story. So yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just I'm just preing this guy. Yeah, I'm preing this guy. The train date guy. And it's funny because this is before he blew up, in it. This is before Mr. Train
Yeah,
Date blew up.
Yeah,
Tell
yeah.
him
this
So
about
is
tell him about
Elvin
Elvin
Mensa.
Mensah.
Yeah,
sorry.
your
Yeah.
lead actor,
Oh
Elvin
yeah, the lead
Mensa.
actor. Yes, Elvin. When we began the shoot, again, I shot this over 6 months. I know that's crazy. I shot this over 6 months. So when we began initially, um, the way I met Elvin, I met him, through church, and then we discussed some ideas. He was a comedic sort of actor doing skits, so I helped him with a few of his projects, and then I cast him from that, when I finished the story. So when we started the project, he was doing his own thing, and then he blew up, and I thought, oh, that can only help. That can only really help the film. So it was amazing to work with him. He was very patient because I kept both actors on some long days. So I'm
Right.
just very great. I'm very grateful because, yeah, I mean, shooting out in the open, um, with natural light for most of the film, you're at the mercy of, the elements, as it were. So having to, wait for the sun, having to, all of that. They were very patient with me. So I'm very thankful.
Oi. Yeah. Timmy got another theatre one. Timmy got another octopus theatre one. Toss in. I see your skills.
Yeah.
I see your skills.
There's one thing I wanted to ask. So before filming, how good was Elvin with a camera? Did he have much experience with that?
I don't think so. I think he would be right to say I don't think he's had any much experience with cameras. But I sort of knew how I was going to train him. I knew how, the key shots that were needed in terms of the insert, him loading the camera, because it's not DSLR, so he's shooting with an SLR. He's shooting an electronic SLR, so I had to sort of show him how to load the film. But yeah, that wasn't really much of a problem in terms of, I knew how I was going to shoot. I knew it was mostly going to be POVs, so we see what he sees. So yeah, I just had to sort of train him up on how to use the camera, how to hold it, how to look through the viewfinder, and the rest was really me sort of directing him and using the camera to direct the audience as well.
You're gonna get some nerds being like, "What's he doing opening up a film camera?"
Yeah, I wasted a roll on that scene, which it pained me because it looked cheap. But yeah.
So we got some.
All right,
so we got some questions.
Have one comment. Do you want to throw that up on the screen?
We got a question.
All right,
Famalam
we've got Louis back. So he wants to know, what was your inspiration for the film, and how did you get Elvin Mensa to not be funny for an entire film?
Inspiration. I don't know. I just thought on, again, going back to that project I did at uni. There was something about a character it's not original what the story I was telling, but there was something about, and obviously I'm a photographer, so I do this all the time. I'm a street photographer. I go on the street, I take pictures of people, random people that I've never met. And there's something about the act of following people, taking pictures of them. For some people that's even problematic. But I thought there's a story here. There's something I can sort of tackle here. And I sort of just meddled on it, thought on it for a while. And I started working on the script. And as I mentioned previously, it was strictly a crime thriller. In the previous drafts, he discovers a murder. But yeah, so the story evolved over, I guess, the space of a year. I'll be very quick. So what happened is I wrote the short. I actually sent it to Tam, who I'd worked with previously. And it was a bit convoluted. There were too many characters. The dialogue was heavy. So what I did is I wrote the feature, the full length. So I shelved the short. I wrote the full script, and then used the full script to inform the short. So when I came back to the short, I literally stripped it down. The draft I sent Tam was about 34 pages. I stripped it down to about 6-7 pages. And yeah, that's how I got there. That's how I sort of got the inspiration and working with Elvin. I don't know. He knew obviously it wasn't a comedic role. I think he was even a bit concerned because again his lane is comedic acting. But I didn't, just from working with him, I could tell it wasn't going to be an issue because again the same muscle that you use to commit to a scene, a comedic scene. It's the same muscle, in my opinion, used to commit to a dramatic scene. So it's sort of just selling the emotion. And from the work I did with him, I thought he could do this, and he was game to do it. And then we did it. So and I think it worked. It worked out. But yeah, shout out to Elvin.
There's something interesting because these days the comedians are doing all the serious talk.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's
kind
true.
of
You can point to. Yeah, you can point to a lot of comedic actors who branched into drama. Robin Williams. The list goes on. Who they started off doing comedy, but then you see their dramatic chops in dramas and the like. So I thought, yeah, he could do this. Yes, I guess I sort of had confidence that he could do it. So yeah.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Great. Great.
All right. So you briefly mentioned that we worked together like 2 years ago. Has it been 2 years now?
Yes. It's
Oh yeah, that was my doing.
3,
Wow.
2, 3.
That was my doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wumi. Thank you for
was
setting
Wumi,
us
yeah.
up. But yeah, we worked on my final year film project. Like you came on pretty late into the project as well because I'd lost my original
Yes.
director, but you still managed to jump in. I think I had about 3 weeks to go until shooting, and you still managed to come in and just sort of sort out the shots, work with the actors, and get everything sorted out. Do you feel like there's a major like difference between sort of coming in and directing someone else's project compared to sort of entirely owning your own project, like writing, directing, and producing your own?
Yeah. Probably a little, excuse me, a little bit of difference. I wouldn't say there's much. The only drawback is, I think directing someone else's project is you want to immerse yourself as much as possible into the project, the story. Obviously, the nature of our collaboration, because your previous director dropped out, it meant I came on late. If we had more time, I would have delved deep into the script, into the story. I think it's just getting to know the story, getting to know the characters, and then working from there. Obviously, if you create the characters from scratch, from your own imagination, it helps, but you still have to convey that to the crew, to the cast, and sometimes you can be a bit, I guess, blind to your own. You can have blind spots, if it's your own project, so you want to get others to critique it as well. I don't think there's much different. Again, it's having time to immerse yourself into projects and taking it from there really. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Final question from me. Do you have anything else lined up? Any future projects?
Yes, I'm currently thinking one over now. I've started writing it. I don't know if it's going to be a short or feature length. It's not going to be like in plain sight, with so many different locations. So this one's going to be mainly one location. Yeah, I'm sort of still working on the story, see where it goes. If it's something I think can be done, can be made in the next couple of years, I'll go for it. But apart from that, no, I've got other stories I'm always working on. But yeah, I'm trying to think of a short story to do to take off from this. But yeah, something will come along. Absolutely,
we'll work on that.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, thank you, Timmy, for joining us. Thanks for letting us show the film. If any of you want to get in touch with Timmy, you can find him on Instagram at 5OLAE. But yeah, that was Timmy.
Timmy.